This stream is live.
Oi, oi. Episode 2, Season 2, Ranting Racing. Jamie, how the devil are you?
Good, Dave. And yourself? Busy?
Oh, fucking mate, yeah, proper busy. Been a proper week of it as well. We'll go through the usual bits, some sort of like introduction, and we'll just waffle a bit now. Talk a little bit about punting, some sort of rant scenarios. I feel like we've probably both got a bit to go off our chest. We'll look a little bit at Cheltenham, and then we'll do some sort of Q&A bit. There may be some extra bits I need to try and fit in, but I'll think of those as we go. So, mate, I don't even really know where to start this week, right? It's been a bit of a weird one. Lots of stuff going on in the world as it is anyway. I'm going to start off with the dog, just because it's early. People are still trying to join. Dog's got like kidney disease, but it's always been borderline. Friday, come down to take the boy to school, little puddle of piss on the carpet. So he's potty trained. It's definitely not him. Unfortunately, it was the dog. So I was a little bit worried, but thought, maybe just he didn't go out for a walk. Went out for a shower in the afternoon, pissed again, took him out for a nice long walk, just wouldn't stop pissing, but in the house, never does it. So took him to the vet's, little emergency call out. 650 quid later, by the way. Vet says to me, I'm pretty sure he's end of life. So the only way we can really do anything is bring him back on Monday for a urine test. And I was like, but if you're suggesting that he's like basically about to die and he's going to start deteriorating over the weekend, what am I supposed to do with him? Like, you're not giving him any medicine or anything. She's like, well, you can't really give medicine to someone that's about to die, can you? So I was thinking, fucking hell. Honestly, like, she wasn't exactly worded this, but that's what she was insinuating. Then she did a blood test. Just when she went off, came back to the blood, said it's going to take half an hour for that to come back. I said, "Did you I'm getting quite worried now. I'd like to actually think he's like end of day, he's going to die type stuff." She goes, "Well, yeah, because it's kidney failure. When this starts to happen, it's that bad." Bearing in mind the dog's eating, he's fine, he's farting away. Seems all right apart from the little wee stuff. But he was sad because he was in the vets. Anyway, 30 minutes goes whizzing around in the vets while I'm Googling euthanasia with a dog. When's it the right time to do it? All that sort of stuff. She comes back in and goes, "Oh, what a relief. Blood readings probably suggest that he's got nothing wrong with his kidneys. So it's definitely not that." So I was like, "He's not going to die then?" She goes, "Well, not at the moment, he's not. Probably just a urine infection. We can't do anything till Monday." So anywho, that was like a busy old Friday night. Obviously, I was going to Daryl's wedding on the Saturday, so I wasn't sure whether I'd even better go, leave the dog, all that sort of stuff. So been a bit of a stress.
How'd you get on with that?
Daryl's wedding. Yeah, Daryl's wedding was good. So I had, like, with the dog stuff, I was one of them because it's cost me a few quid and it's going to cost me more from Monday now just to get a couple of extra bits checks. I've cleared the Betfair bank balance out. So I was obviously betting on there. I was talking about leaving that in there. So I will like top up and redo it, but life gets in the way, doesn't it? I needed to take some cash out of there. I've done 300 quid this week, I think, in terms of a loss. I think it was Wednesday night. I was trading a bit on the dogs and got too many of them wrong. So a bit bad, but did all right on the punting other than that. But yeah, Daryl's wedding was really good, mate. Left a little bit early because, again, worried about the dog. But yeah, man, seems like a happy boy.
You didn't stay at all, no?
Who knows? I mean, who knows? Who can confirm or deny?
No, but you didn't stay down below, no?
No, I went down there for a little bit. I did make my way back. Didn't have too much to drink, so it was one of them.
You didn't have me as a roommate, so that's why you didn't stay.
That's it. Yeah, we didn't have a proper offer for it. But yeah, so like, it's not necessarily like the horsey stuff to kick off with, but mate, it's been one of those. And then again, we've like trying to concentrate on other stuff. So over the weekend, I did have a few bets. Like, let's be clear about it. Managed to get a few quid on him at evens. He traded at 2.28 overnight, Friday into Saturday. But again, one of those where I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on there because I had other focuses in the time. And then even on Sunday, like Ernesto, because of what happened with the dog, I took my money out. I had a 12.50 each way with him with a bookie, so SP was all right on Ernesto, but I was looking to have a reasonable bet on him to place from Betfair. But again, like, life gets in the way, doesn't it? Anyway, how's life with you, if you want to spill any beans on that, and how's your punting been to an extent?
Punting, I didn't do much the weekend, Dave, to be honest with you. I had no interest in backing anything to do with we're going off race in terms of golf either. Sorry, I was just watching that for the whole weekend. I was buzzing for that for the whole 3 days. 12 hours every day watching it. I had a couple of bets yesterday. We'll get on to the rant after that. To do with the punt insider's perspective about one jockey in particular.
I think there's some good rants coming up, which I feel like lots of people probably want to get involved in, but I've got plenty from my side as well. I'm going to have to keep checking the phone a little bit because we've been sent in a couple of rants, which I'll read out as well. But also there's a few bits that I've made a note of that I want to make sure I remember. We'll try and keep it concise as we did before on there. Obviously, there's a few people in the comments out there, so good evening to all of you guys out there as well. If anyone's got any questions, rants and stuff they want to send in as we go, we'll peel back to them as we go on a little bit. Before, I suppose the last little bit I'll just do on like the little punting bit there is, like I said, I've published my profit and loss stuff for the GG weekend watch things. All of that's to Industry SP, Betfair SP. We'll do the same as we get through the season. I feel like as much as we look towards the weekend, this show is going to be a little bit tricky for tipping because we don't have the weekend Irish entries. We do have the British ones, but then you never know what the fields are going to be. So we'll just consolidate and review how the punting's gone on here. And as I said before...
what I'll do is, before I start, if people want to share things, I'll share one thing. I'm being cocky now. Mr. Carter tipped a nice horse in Hamilton today. And you can't see it, but it won.
Nice. Well, what we'll do with that stuff, because I'm just conscious that in a section in here where we're going to talk about punting quite a bit, I do trading bits as well, so it's going to be very difficult for me to constantly always say to people, this is what I'm doing, unless I live stream that sort of stuff. I don't think there's enough interest for it. It's a bit of stress, can't be asked of it. So those sides of things I will keep to the side of it, but anything that comes to punting where I know I'm going to have a bet on something, we'll publish them. We'll do as best we can with it. Because I know I'd be annoyed if we were sat here now going, how's your punting been? We'd be like, oh yeah, I had a great week every week, or had a bad week here and there, but like we tried to hide how bad it was. But the thing is, we all know what it's like, right? Long-term game. Fingers crossed, if you're sensible about it, then we'll do all right. It's getting close to getting exciting, right? But we've already seen it a little bit, even today with some horses that are going out. You've got to be a little bit careful. I mean, I got excited about, let's be clear about it, but it's more the makeup of the race. He was a known quantity, and luckily we had one or two known quantities in there as well, which when it comes to novice chasers, beginners chasers, I kept using the Harry Finley tweet last year, didn't I? There was times when some horses would be going off a hell of a lot shorter than they do today. But that's sort of changed a little bit now because lots of people are opposed to taking on shorties. But there'll be people that would have backed a novice hurdler that's never jumped an obstacle before its life, or in a maiden hurdle at shorter prices than they'd be prepared to back a novice chaser, and they already know where they sort of stack up on the rate and stuff. So it's for everyone, isn't it? Their opinions and stuff.
But as you said, Dave, I totally agree with you. That was pure evidence today about horses that were what I would call souped up to the nines, that had form in bumpers last year that really were dog shit, really, weren't they? Like King of Kingsfield now. King. I agree. King of Kingsfield now. They're probably a long-term project there, but Shannon Royale was terrible. Like, do you know what I mean? For a treat, really well punted in the end. Like,
agreed. Well, I feel like we'll do that. Maybe on the sections, what I should do then, we should have punting in there. We should talk racing, and then we should do ranting because it is ranting and racing. But what we'll do is let's go rant first. Let's let people get it off their chest. We'll get into the racing then, and I'm sure that will allude to some people in there because there's a few we need to talk about. We've got to talk about Sharjah. Massively need to talk about Sharjah. We need to obviously talk about the King of Kingsfield, Cheltenham Royal result today. There's other bits as well, like Veronelli's running tomorrow. It's all like opinions. The Veronelli running tomorrow one's actually quite a good one because we're probably going to be sat here in the majority in hindsight. And it's very easy to say the right things in hindsight. But as people will know that have watched us before, because we've been doing this for many years now, we're both quite happy to say what we actually think beforehand as well. So we'll try and weasel that in. From a rant perspective, Jamie, I'm going to hold fire with you for a second because we've got a couple sent in from the people. And as much as you're a priority, the people are the priority. Just like to confirm the ad revenue from last week, right? YouTube haven't started doing their algorithm stuff. It starts in November. £8.62 we made. So that's £4.16 that'll be winging its way to you, Jamie.
We'll be millionaires by next year.
You fucking won't. It cost me more than that to park yesterday for work. Right. We'll do a few of these. Adrian Meaning. Excuse me. This is a good one. I haven't read these, by the way, so I'm going to go off the cuff. But Adrian's a long-time viewer. I think first-time ranter, to be fair. So I'm fairly sure it'll be fairly polite. Hi, Dave. Trainers talk their horses up pre-season, saying they're ready to go from the start of the season. Then they start getting beat, and then they tell you they now need the run. What the fuck? Talk about Jackanory and having a convenient excuse. Keep up the good work. Best wishes, Adrian. Mate, how much is this like very true every single year? And I feel like this is the sort of thing that maybe just over time, you just have to trust like that certain yards are going to do certain things. Like Dan Skelton always just jumps out as the trainer that would always make me feel like this. Like a protectorate. Before when he goes and gets beat, he says, oh, maybe I didn't have him there. Maybe it was only 80%. I should have had him 100%. But before the race, says he's got him 100% straight to win the race. The same, like I said there with us. We could say whatever we want after the race, can't we? But at least ours will be hopefully some sort of in line with what we said pre-race. How do you find it at the start of the season, especially like racing TV coverage, that sort of stuff? Do you want to know what trainers think of their horses before they run in terms of fitness, or would you rather not know and make your own judgment and only hear what they say after a performance? Or do you like to know and then that makes a difference whether you're going to bet them or not?
50-50, Dave, to be honest with you. I like to know a small bit, but I like to see them on the track first. I take RPRs, time, sectionals, the whole lot out of perspective when I see them first time out. First time out, I go with my naked eye. I think if you're in the game long enough, you just forget about what everyone else is talking about. Judge for yourself, and I think a lot of people need to go back to that you have to judge for yourself and judge with your own eye. And if you don't want to judge with your own, look, that's your own prerogative. I have absolutely no problem. But that's what I like to do. I like to see him before then I'll have a punt. Now, obviously, you're going to have a punt about talking horses. You might have a punt before a horse even steps on a race course and have a punt for it. That's perfectly fine in my opinion. But I like to see him first time out. Yeah, I really do, because then I want to make my own judgment on it through my naked eye. And I think that should be everybody's perspective in the game. If you want to have a look at it and you think this horse is good, then that you can make your own opinion on it.
Yeah, it can be frustrating, I guess, can't it? If you want to have a punt on them and you don't bet them and you just let them run, and then it feels like you left the loser go behind. But again, because it's a long time thing, right? There'll be as many that we leave behind that would have got beat, and the sort of information you get from it's good. It's handy as well in it, because you can, if you find out after you fancy something to run well in a race, you find out that it wasn't actually fully fit. You can upgrade the performance, but you can remember it for later in the season when lots of people will forget about it, right? Because lots of people will just remember everything now. So everything's a Cheltenham Festival horse. It'll run shit in the winter when the proper horses come out, and then all of a sudden, when it comes to the spring, everyone's forgotten about them again, or vice versa. People get really excited about these horses because they've won this early in the summer, and then they hold on to them for way too long. You've got to treat everything with its nice normal trajectory, I guess, doesn't it? Jamie did freeze for a moment, but he's back. Come on, the Cheltenham Exchange. Learn to deal with it. A bit of patience. Speaking of the Cheltenham Exchange, Ian Rayner, still waiting, is what he started off with. Hello, egg and potato. That's what we're currently known as. Ian Rayner, boss man from Essex, first time ranter, long time listener. Oh, he's gone personal on this one. Santini moves faster than Jamie. That's not the rant. Right, my rant is about Ginger Joe and his promotion for his latest anti-post clip show. Firstly, his promotion says 2024 instead of 2023. We all make mistakes. Secondly, he's used the old Cheltenham Exchange logo. I mean, it's not his fault if you keep changing it. And lastly, the video still isn't bloody out. I mean, he did say that they were his Festival Anti-Post tips a while back in September. It is October now. I mean, we do all do it, Joe, but I've learned from experience that if you're not ready, don't stick it out. And as much as you want to lure people in, let it be. But yeah, Ian's right. For a man that prides himself on some good golf and horse racing tips recently, his promotional skills are atrocious. Ian, you know he's been a busy man. Anyway, they'll be coming out soon, won't they? I know he's got something coming up as well for Horses to Follow, where he's got a few people's views again. He did it last season, didn't he? So that'll be a good piece to look at.
Ian's a gas man to talk about it, because he forgets about everyone else by himself.
Exactly right. We're going to get people on very soon for the show, right? Scotty Rudds, I want to get him on as soon as possible.
Of course.
I do want to get people on from different channels and stuff as well. So from the Cheltenham Exchange, we definitely want to get any of them that will come on. We need to get Ian because he just keeps ranting every week. We've got to get Alex on, haven't we? I mean, like I say, I want to get all of them on. Let's Talk Racing. Josh did mention last week, I think it was Josh from the account that was saying that he'd like to get involved at some point. So I'm going to try and get something in the pipeline for that. Finishing Line have touched on it as well. So as the season goes on, we'll do that sort of stuff. If there's anything coming up time-wise, or you see any of those accounts doing anything, guys, that you want to have a little rant about, or you think is really good, or you want to talk about, and it's like topical, just hammer it in the comments, like at them or whatever, or go on their Twitters and just keep bombarding them with coming on here, because then we can get people on. I think it'll be good, wouldn't it? Nice little community stuff. Right, let's get ranting with us, please, Jamie. There's so many multiple things that I want to get annoyed about this week. Trying to take a deep breath. I'm gonna let you go for it. I'm gonna take a sip of water. I'm gonna calm down. Where would you like to start, Jamie? What's been pissing you off the most this week, horsey wise or non-horsey wise?
There's a couple of things, Dave. You see on the first thing I suppose I have to touch on really is something that I touched on last week about the crack about Euro this and all this and malarkey, and I'm going to make a quote that you made last year about a certain somebody. That the fact of the matter is that I see people there on Twitter going on about, oh, will you stop giving out National Hunt fans that today is Earth Day, yesterday. Like, I was engulfed in the golf, as I said, yeah. And all I saw on Twitter, well, people stop. Just because Chargers running in exactly what you said. Chargers running in Tipperary, Zarek the Braves running in Tipperary. That people are still talking about Cheltenham and it's Art Day. If you want to be a flat rat, go away and be a flat rat. Am I so excited to see Van Dijk next year in the 2000 guineas? Is my answer to that. Do you know what I mean? Am I excited to see him the Dewhurst because it's this year? Of course I am excited to see him in the Dewhurst because I think he's a fantastic horse for a 2-year-old. But is he going to train on? Oh, I'm so excited for next year's 2000 guineas. But like then you kind of get put into perspective that from last year, what you made an argument like, these people are coming out then and they're getting paid for it, and then they can't even decide, can't even tell you which horse is in the right race. And when it comes to Cheltenham, so I'm like, what are you giving out about? If you don't like watching National Hunt Racing, just watch the flat. If you don't like the flat, watch National Hunt Racing. And do you know what I mean? That's just me. I'm sick and tired of it. Of people coming out on Twitter. I don't care. Look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. To stop, we love what we like. If you don't like it, watch something else.
Yeah, I agree. Is it like I do agree as well that it's massively painful, hypocritical, that sort of stuff. Very different examples, but like when we had the World Cup was in Dubai, and then you have the racing that was out there as well in Dubai, and everyone was saying about how terrible it is, it should all be banned. And then as soon as they get offered on the gravy train, they're out there doing it. And then they'll say, "Oh, if I didn't do it, someone else would do it." They need to have me there as
Exactly,
like a
exactly. I totally
balancing
agree with you. But
person.
the fact of the matter
Just
is,
if you've got nothing nice to say, just don't say anything nice at all, right?
exactly. I'm actually looking forward to. I like one of the things I like on the flat. You might think I'm mad. I like the Breeders' Cup because the fact of the matter is that if you're actually a real jockey, if you can ride a winner in that, I mean, like going down to the bushes, into the dip, into the thing, up the hill, and number a big long straight. Oh, how boring is that? Like, least like I going to say that William Buick is probably the best flat jockey along with Oisin Murphy because the fact of the matter is that he can show you how good he is around tight turns off a fast pace and produce a horse to win a race. Where you're going down, as I said, Joe, repeating myself, going down into the bushes, down into the dip of the, oh wow. So how exciting is that? Do you know what I mean? It's not. And that's just my opinion. People love it. That's their prerogative. But stop giving out about national hunt racing if you don't like Cheltenham. If you like, you're going to constantly hear about Cheltenham, and that's it.
Yeah, and
It is what it is.
yeah, and it's like obviously like freedom of speech and all that stuff's like quite an extreme way to express it, isn't it? But like there, like it's sort of like if someone wants to get excited about a horse, that's fine. The middle ground of it that gets like a little bit weird, though, I feel, is
I agree.
probably the bit that I'm getting a bit wound up a bit, right? It's like the Sharjah thing, right? And again, it may be that he goes out and does worldly things and goes and wins all the lot, right? But you know how much I love Cheltenham, right? Sharjah on his debut at Galway jumped right and he ran down a few to the right. First time over fences, you don't care if they're a bit novice, all that sort of stuff. Like he is an older horse now, but like let it be what it be. Ran yesterday, going left-handed and ran down all of them, right? The racing TV, especially at that track, do fantastic overhead footage, don't they? Like of a drone where you can literally see them taking off. Paul Townend's doing his little post-race commentary, saying in there, like great, as soon as you took him up the gallop, all that sort of stuff. Well, he took him up the hill, just saying that he's jumping beautiful, that sort of stuff. He knows what he's doing. He's always looking for the next fence. And they overlaid that with the replay of the drone footage. And the drone footage was showing him like markedly run up the right when he's not even under pressure. He's not going hard because obviously he was like liable to beat him as he beats him. And then there are accounts out there that will just copy and paste and share the quotes, right? Which again is fine because I think it's good to share it. I started off doing that loads on Facebook. If I could keep up with it, I would do it. It's the best way to get it out there because I want everybody to have the same amount of information. Everybody, I want everyone to know everything. But just because Paul Townend said he jumped super does not mean that he actually did jump super. You got to go look at it and you got to decide. It's the same as when Al Fabiola had his Chase debut last season. 50% of Twitter was saying he was shit. 50% of Twitter was saying they were right. So at the end of the day, like someone's going to be right, aren't they? But you've got to judge it off your own thing. For me, Sharjah going left-handed will get fucked. You cannot run down fences, jump out to the right, even over hurdles you get caught out. And then people were talking about him as like a 25 or 20-1 poke for like a Turner's and he's got a chance and all those types of things. And I know it's romantic, it's nice to get excited, but he's not going to do it. So I don't know.
But he'll probably win, Dave. There's the novice chase. Is there a novice chase in Ferry House next? Is it the Craddock's Town or something like that? He'll probably go into that, and then like if you're backing him for a Drinmore in Ferry House in December, you want your head tested.
And that's the thing with it, right? So they were talking about getting him out early, right? He'll have experience over some of them, he'll have fitness over them. Willie, you got to read into some of this stuff, right? It's not like Willie Mullins has got this new recruit that he doesn't actually think that's good that he brought out in the summer, and all of a sudden, actually, it's a worldie. We didn't know about this. We know the level that Sharjah is. He's brought him out early to do exactly that. Go mop up these little races before the start of the season. Go and pick some because he knows when it comes to the spring, probably going to get found out. Again, it's not like that major rant thing, but it's just there. It's the possibly the encouragement of people to put something out there. And again, it's all fine. It depends there. But if you haven't watched the race and you haven't like I genuinely do feel like anyone that watched the race, and especially the interview that Paul Tanner did where they showed the overhead footage and he's jumping to the right, anybody that could agree with what he said is talking out their ass. And it's the same as whatever it is. If a jockey,
he must have a chance in a dream more than Dave if he goes right-handed.
maybe. But the thing is, he's like. With like that, right? So you know when the two jockeys come up against each other, right? And you know one would have beaten the other, and then one falls, and the jockey that fell said, "I think I would have had him." And then you get people that will be quoting that and saying, "Oh, like he would have won that race if he'd have stood up." And you see plain as day that they haven't. You have to watch the race, trust your own judgment, stop listening to what other people say to an extent. It's a bit of a hard one to put in there, but like he's a 10-year-old going novice chasing. They want to win some races with him. He's going to turn out to be something good. If he wasn't jumping right, I wouldn't be saying it, but like it's a very small thing in it. We've got to try and like draw stumps quite early on horses. You've got to be overly critical. Like I said, we're going to get 10 runners in every race minimum, right? Just say on average, I can't remember the average field size. I'll say there's 14 or 15, right? There's 28 races. There's 28 winners you could pick anti-post. But if you think of all the entries and the horses that are in there, there's 600 plus horses that aren't going to win. So again, I said this last week, it's much easier to sit here and say this horse won't win somewhere. But when it's this far out and you're thinking about having anti-post bets, do you really want to tie your money up on a horse that you probably already know isn't going to win the fucking race anyway? Anyhow.
Yeah, look, he's a decent horse. He's going to pick up a lot of wins.
Will not win at Cheltenham, though, will he?
No, he won't win at Cheltenham. No, I totally agree with that.
And then speaking of the other ones as well, so King of Kingsfield race was interesting. This is one I'm, again, semi-annoyed about. I say semi-annoyed about, and I say again, I don't even know if I already said I was semi-annoyed, but I thought a little bit about tweeting pre-race a bit more this season because opinion would have been the same, but I wasn't expecting him to get beat today. I will say that. Spoke to a couple of people over the summer about some points and stuff like that. There's some point dockets that have been dossiers that have been sent around as well. A few people will see that. I'll share what I can from those after. But I spoke to a couple of people and I was asking about King of Kingsfield because you know, obviously last year Josh put him up for the bumper, didn't he? And then I just tried to poo-poo that with the Gigginstown thing, saying they don't have the bumper horses, all those bits and pieces in there, and it wasn't like the worst bet in the world, but it was just statistically again like it's bad when like he's got it at 20s, 25s, people were backing him at 7 or 8 and stuff like that. It would have been a fine bet to take a bit of a swing out of price, but again, it was just that I wanted to put the balanced argument in there. It wasn't like a dig or anything, but I backed him each way at Punchestown. Thought he had a bit of a chance because I thought the conditions would suit him better, quicker ground. That type of horse on that type of track would do a little bit better. Anyhow, spoke to someone over the summer, said to him, "Would you make King of Kingsfield?" Because I said, "I think he looks like he's clearly got some ability, but what do you reckon is the key to him?" And the guy just said to me, he is a speedster. So he just said, as far as he's concerned, he'll do his best over 2 miles, but that's not obviously what the connections want. And he desperately needs good ground, is what his thought was. So on a run like today, again, I didn't see the value in putting anything out beforehand, but he is a horse that is going to need good ground as it goes on. And obviously he gets beat today. But then when he gets beat today, he's given £8 to the horse that goes and wins it. The horse that goes and wins it, fed on his point, and doesn't actually look half bad in himself anyway. But again, in the scale of like, is he going to be a Cheltenham Grade 1 winner or not? Who bloody knows? But it feels like if you're not that on debut, then no one cares about you. But he's given £8 to the runner-up and he's been beat half a length from ground he probably doesn't want. And people are out there saying about how much of a dog he is. I know you said the same at the start of the show stuff, but it's this, isn't it? I don't understand the extremes.
I didn't call him a dog. Like.
No, I know, but I don't understand the extremes, right? I don't understand how if a horse wins on the bridle this time of year, people are talking about it for Cheltenham. If a horse gets beat this time of the year, people are dismissing it from ever winning a race again. It's so extreme. Where's just the fact of saying it's the beginning of the season? Let's just treat that performance as it was.
I know
and see how it goes on later on.
Exactly what you say. He was given £8 to it. No, the winner looked nice. He looked pretty good. I heard there's a better horse in those colours for Cromwell, by the way. We'll get into that down the line.
Now, get onto it now.
No. I won't say nothing about that. But no, the winner looked good, but I don't know about him. Like, what annoys me about King of Kingsfield was last year's run when I know he was getting bundles away to facile mode in in the bumper Christmas at Leopardstown, but that was a good ground bumper.
Mm.
So do you know what I mean? Like, and Facile Mode got a load of weight that day, which is fair enough, right? But look, what has Facile Mode done after that? The collateral form is not stacking up, Dave, and that's the problem. Like, do you know what I mean?
No.
Like Tully, like people, I see a load of people, as you said, Tully Hill and Dream to Share for this year. I believe it now when I see it when it comes to those two horses as well. By the way,
But this is the beauty of it,
Green
right?
Bean Savage.
You can get some. I think you can get some seriously good bets over a horse's career by having a bit of an affiliation to them and potentially giving them a bit more forgiveness than others, right? We all have it with cliff horses. I mean, I'll have plenty that I'm like absolute dogs, and no matter how long they'll race for, I'm never going to stop backing them. And people like you and Darren are saying, "Mate, just give it up." But I still just want to latch on a bit. So it's hard to get it all right.
What was,
But you get ones like
what was the other Nicholas dog that you like? Oh, Mon Morel.
no, he'll still win races. Though, no, I don't know. But but like even like Sebastopol to an extent, lots of people had started to poo-poo him a little bit, and obviously went and won the penultimate start, got beat the time after. I don't know. I feel like if you pay enough attention to a horse that you like, we've got enough in us, right, that we can follow 10, 20 horses closely through their careers throughout the season. If you watch them in every run and then try and take a positive spin on them, maybe you can see a little bit more out of them than others. But I'd look at like a King of Kingsfield again. We'll see how it goes through the season, but an opportunity that he's going to get a handicap mark. People are talking about Might and Pipe horses, all that sort of stuff. He's the sort of one that potentially could end up as one of those types of horses. And the same people that are saying today he's an absolute dog will be sharing their 25 to 1 they've got in him in any race at Cheltenham when he ends up favourite after he wins the Markham Purcell or something like that. But like you don't let him be written off.
Now he's probably going to run in the Royal Bond, Dave. Do you know what I mean? He's going to come out now.
Yeah, they'll try him, wouldn't they?
So of course he's going to be tried in the Royal Bond.
And you get it as well this time.
Can we get onto the real rent now? Can we get onto the real rent?
Yeah, I'll let you have one more. But you do get it, didn't you? Sometimes you get it.
I do. You look, people are quick to dismiss someone.
But even like Aramon and horses like that, when the difference was they would win by half a length, but then they'd go and win some like weaker grade ones at Christmas, which typically are good races for Cheltenham. And then people are getting too excited about their performances because it's the same as I don't know.
And then when handicaps off big weights in the middle of the summer.
Exactly, but that's the thing. There's a time and a place to back everybody horse, isn't there? Even just because we thought it was going to be a Gold Cup horse that goes and win it 2 miles, or just because we think it's a 2 mile and it goes and wins a National Hunt Chase, like you got to stick with something, haven't you? So we'll try and do that as the season goes on. Like more of the ones that are, I guess, more notable names. Try and give our view on it. Hey, we're going to be wrong about probably more than we're going to get right, but if we get a couple right at reasonable prices later in the season, just wait till it comes to Christmas. Dublin Racing Festival, there's little handicaps with their Mickey Mousing with them. Anyway, go on, your rant. Other than the fact that your camera's stuck, we can hear you beautifully. What's your rant, Jamie? Go on, get stuck in.
Is my camera stuck?
No, don't do anything about it because otherwise it will go. We've got the audio. It's good. Face for radio, isn't you?
Face for radio, yeah, exactly.
Same. That's what this should be called.
This should be called Face for Radio, yeah. Face for Renting Racing. Obviously being rant is everyone giving out about Mr. Leon Franco Dettori on his ride yesterday, waiting for the 4-timer. Everyone I see on Twitter, oh, Frankie's this and Frankie's that, the 4-timer at Longchamp. Obviously you backed Opera Singer, Blue Roshin, Ace Impact, and waiting on Frankie. I mean, like, I was too. Look, I'm not going to deny it. Of course I was, right? I backed it. But it just stunk. Like, you just knew it was going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, the way it got out of the gate, he got into a wrong position. He was stuck behind the horse that travelled the best in the whole race. And then I see people giving out about it. I understand. No, he did make a pig's ear of it. He did. He went the wrong way. But then to come along and then objected in the stewards room is shithousery in my book, that he was destined to never win a Grade 1 again in France. That's what's wrong with Frankie. He's a glory hunter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
His main prerogative, his main supporter, though he did fantastic charity work, was Mr. Curley. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not speaking into the dead. Like, you know, he was a great man, but he knew how to do what he did. Do you know what I mean? I won't elaborate on it. But the fact of the matter is, like, I see people giving out. Look, he was beaten half a length. Was he beaten by the better horse? Yes, it was beaten by the better horse. He was never going to win the race, even if Frankie went on the outside and of the other horse. So just get over it. Do you know what I mean? That's it. But as I said, and getting back to my rant, is that it stunk of it, like, it's the different thing. Like, it just stunk of in any power that the bookies were waiting on a liability on Kinrath. and then he was beaten, and sigh of relief for the bookies. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why people give out. It always happens. It doesn't matter. Once in every 4 years that great four timer comes off, and we're all delighted as punters. We win a lot of money. We're delighted. But do you think it's going to come off all the time? You're wasting your time. You're
Oh,
wasting
yeah.
your time. I should have cashed out. No, I'm not a pussy. I don't fucking cash out in those things. I let it ride. Going back to my point, I was in golf and the horse racing. Sorry, the golf yesterday. I did it for the crack. If it won, it won. Do you know what I mean? And get over it.
It's it, and that would it is the get over it bit because it's the nature of it's literally the
Nature of the
nature of the
beast.
sport. Yeah, the nature of the sport we're betting on is the fact that people get stuff wrong. We will genuinely make a case for the fact that we think someone's going to do something wrong, or a trainer's got it wrong, or whatever it is. Like that's the point of it, isn't it? And again, in an instance like that, no one's going to sort of predict that Frankie's going to go fuck it up. But Daryl was talking about him a little bit earlier this season, right? And I can't remember exactly what he said, so I'm not going to like try and misquote him. But he got a little bit annoyed with Frankie at the beginning of the season with a couple of rides, I think, where he was, I don't know, either didn't think he rode the best out of the horse or whether he wasn't taking it seriously. I can't remember what it was. So again, like, don't quote me on there. But he made a comment about it, and then there was a bit of a difference about it. He did say, didn't he, Frankie, when they interviewed him after the arc, that he felt really sad in the morning. Obviously, like being his last time there and all that sort of stuff. And then he said when he finally rode a couple of races, he started to feel a bit better. Then he goes and runs in the arc. I wonder whether, like, it's easily done, I guess, but like, I wonder whether like everything just got on top of him and like he let that affect, because they talk about the connection with the horse, keeping him calm, you've got to be relaxed, all that sort of stuff. If he's a bit stressed in his head or he feels like it's game over and doesn't want to try all that sort of stuff, it's going to make a difference in those split-second decisions you're making in racing. And anybody that's going there thinking that Frankie Dettori is going to be riding out of his absolute skin, doing everything he possibly can to get a winner because it's like his last ride over there. You can see it in all his interviews, can't you? He's done enough by now. He's just going around and getting on the gravy train again for another season, and he doesn't give a fuck about that. He doesn't mind that he's picking up money for doing whatever he's doing. And he made that clear when he asked for those appearance fees, didn't he, to come over to Ireland? Like, he's a man in demand. He's allowed to do what he wants, but I reckon that's why he didn't get to ride Ernesto personally. And when Ernesto, because I talked about him, Frankie rode him in Leopardstown. It was probably an ideal ride for it. Tucked him in, got him boxed in. Didn't really ride a finish on him, but I would have said that was more by design. But I was a little, well, not necessarily surprised, but I could have seen Frankie keeping the ride in the arc, but maybe second or third in an arc for Frankie was never going to be good enough. They wanted something else, or maybe the connections just thought, you know what, we don't want Frankie to do what he did in the Champion Stake. Pretend that the horse isn't good enough and never actually ride him to get his best position. Just let him get beat. Whereas obviously 50-1 he goes off, didn't he? The other jockey just follows Ace Impact round and just thinks, well, the only way I'm going to get close is if I can stay close to this horse, and just manages to do it. So who knows? But it's over now, and no more Frankie, thank God. We met him once at Newmarket, right? Got on a little boat trip with a men's conservative club. He was sat there with his wife and his kids, but he was with his wife and kids in the public enclosure. Came to that bar, like come out of like his connection bit. And a friend of mine went over and just said, "Oh, hi Frankie, big fan of that sort of stuff. Is there any chance I could get a picture?" But before he'd even said about getting a picture, Frankie Dettori just said, "Can you fuck off? I'm with my family." To which one of our other friends replied, "Can you fuck off up the public enclosure then and go and sit in the owners and trainers or go and sit in the jockeys bit?" But it was just one of them. Like, I get it. He's with his family. He's a bit annoyed, but I think he's one of them, and whatever's going on in his world, I think drives like
That's
everything.
true. That's true. Actually, when he came years ago, there was no camera phones. There was no nothing. And there's like a famous festival here in where I'm from, the Rose of Tralee it's called, and my cousin was picked as the Kerry Rose, or no, sorry, my cousin was picked as the Cork Rose. And Mom goes to me, "Would you like to go down and see your cousin? You know, she's down the hotel, the main hotel where the roses are." And I said, "No, I won't bother," right? And of course, forgot, because there was no internet then. There was no fucking you would what was those cameras before, the disposable cameras? That's all you had. Do you know what I mean? And literally, my mom went into the local hotel. There was my cousin, and who was up at the bar? But Frankie Dettori. And I was about, I can't remember what age I was, about 10 or something like that. And I came down and I came home, and Mom goes to me, guess who I met? And please say, I said, "Don't tell me I met Frankie Dettori." I did. But like, if that was years ago, you'd have got, "Yeah, come down, he's there." Do you know what I mean? But there was none of, there was no connections like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, for back in the Stone Age, I put it that way, Joe. But he couldn't be more polite. Do you know what I mean? But I exactly understand what you're saying. Don't be in the public eye if you don't want to be tormented. Do you know what I mean?
And
Like,
that's it,
it's
yeah. And
exactly what your friend said. Fuck off back to the owners and trainers.
I know, and like it was because obviously like I had a few beers and that sort of stuff. It was literally just before the first race got up as well, I think. But like, I mean, I'm not like the type of person to be that like outwardly rude to someone. I try and not be full stop, but I do think that was a glimpse of potentially a person letting like how their like general mood or whatever's going on in their day really affect them. Like I'll be like really moody, stressy sometimes, and I don't know, I'll be annoyed in the car park or I'll be annoyed in like a normal life situation. But that's where the professionalism side comes from a jockey, isn't it? I know it's really hard because they've got stuff going on, but that's all I'm alluding to there is he talked a little bit on TV about his emotions being high and low there. So maybe he fucked up on Kinross because of that.
I put it that way, Joe. Like, you know, if we like, you know, my local track is Clarny. Like, you know, you go up in Clarny and they're so open there. The racing TV crowd, Kevin O'Ryan, Don McLean, Ruby Walsh. Like, you can go up to Ruby Walsh, right, and say, "Yeah, can I have a picture, Ruby?" There's no problem with the picture, but if you want to talk horse racing with him, oh no, you might as well be talking to the concrete ball behind his back. What do you think about that, Ruby? No, he just says, he doesn't say, "Do you want the photo or not?" He's very polite that way. I will say, "Get your photo and walk the other way, my friend." That's basically what he's saying to his opinion of an ordinary Joe Soap does not count, and that's just it, and that's just the way he is.
But that's the sport they're in it, and they will appreciate. And again, like I don't know, someone will probably come and quote me on this one, but like Frankie going into the steward's room after an objecting was proper. I felt crybaby type stuff because beat amicably and just let it go rather than just trying to draw out and blame it on everybody else why it went wrong. Because I know it might happen, but I can't remember a time where someone like Ruby Walsh or AP McCoy would have fucked up on a race and then try to blame someone else for it. Like I'm sure they do. They'll have a go at each other in the weighing room and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. Fuck him.
He'd have got away with that though years ago, Dave. You know yourself. If you walk a straight line in France, you were done. Do you know what I mean? Like, but look, they had to do something about that. Like Maximin Guillon, the jockey.
Bad, wasn't
it? Like, you know, he was actually to be honest with me, is proper race riding. Get out of my way. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to win. Where years ago, exactly as you said, it was bad. You wouldn't have got away with it. Do you know what I mean? I think it was a bit too harsh years ago. But look, Frankie was going on about 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but that's why he's done it, isn't he? Because he knows that it's soft in France. He just thought, fuck it, he'll give it a try. He's done what he can, but it's too late after. Right, we've definitely talked way too long about Frankie Dettori. This is a jump, so let's quickly see if we've got anything to talk about Cheltenham. Right, Ferronelli's running tomorrow. Just a little bit of aftertime, which we'll do throughout the season. I made the great case for him at Punchtown, and I will stand back and I will say that I'm happy for other people to put stuff up as well, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people laughed at me at that, you and Darren included, I think. But Ferronelli did his business back then, didn't he? And as much as you can look at it and say, oh, he had that decent win, and you can say the horses that he beat, etc. The strong basis of my argument on there was not the fact that he's a superstar, but the fact that these other horses are potentially not running to their official ratings. And I thought he could go out like the clappers and he could nick the race. And he won. He got the job done. Fairly happy because I feel like I nailed it right. But that was sort of one where, again, not saying that he won't go and progress into something worldly now, but I feel like that was a situation and a race in isolation, right? Time and a place type thing. That was just perfect for that sort of thing to happen. And as much as he was a 7-1 poke, I think went off 10s before, I don't think it's the type of event that if they'd have run it 7 times, he'd have only won once. I think he do that. So run that race 7 times, he'd have won that 4 or 5 times. Going forward, though, and especially with the whole JP connection, I just wonder what sort of level of overbet he's going to be. I saw the 4-runner race he's in tomorrow. I think he was 4 to 9, maybe something like that. Which in relative terms, I actually thought was a reasonable price. He's got the beating of every single horse in that race on figures, and even if you play him down a little bit, he's got the beating of all of them. So. Suspect he'll go and do quite well there. But what do you think he's going to do, mate? Because he's a novice for the rest of this season, isn't he? Or up until Christmas or October time. Then he's going to have to go against the big kids. He's a bit stuffed, isn't he?
No, I think he'll run in Is he a novice till the end of the year, yeah?
I need to double check on that. But he didn't go over fences, did he, till later? It's October or something, is it? Could be wrong. But anyhow, he's going to take on the big kids at some point, isn't he?
He's cast iron to end up in the Drimmer. It's like if he's a novice till Christmas, the turn of the year, he'll probably end up in the 3 Mile Novice in Leopardstown. But why
Or
not
is it
go in
October
another?
it goes through?
It's October, November.
Who knows? He's had 2 chase starts. His first chase start was was the 9th of April. So I'm pretty sure he's got his chase status till I think it's the end of this year.
Yeah, so if why not go back and trip and jump back to the 2 miles 4 or 5 to Drimore? He's definitely going to go for the Drimore, Dave. Definitely.
But
Why
what do you
not?
reckon? But I'm thinking like when we get through to the springtime, right? Because obviously again these people are getting
Oh,
excited about this
through the
horse to follow
springtime.
through all that sort of stuff. What's going to happen with when he comes after the fact that he's no longer a novice, and then he's got to go against the big kids? Where do you think they'll be going?
Where do you think they're going? He's going he's going to go for the Gold Cup. After winning the 3 Mile last year, he is going to go for the Gold Cup. Like, he's rated 155. Where
Do you think he goes Do you reckon he goes Cheltenham this year then? Or he's only a 6-year-old going 7? Didn't run him at Cheltenham last year.
Like, he might run in the what do they call it? Not quite good enough for the Queen Mother. Don't run in the boat race, and then they're in the halfway heaven, and that's the Ryanair. So he could be a Ryanair horse. But do you think he's going to win a Ryanair or an Open Grade 1 next year? Oh God, no. Not a hope in hell. Do you know what I mean?
It's hard, isn't it? But he's definitely a really exciting horse. So I fully expect him to go and win tomorrow.
Is he exciting? Is he?
I think he's an exciting one. I think he's exciting for the fact of that. Like, it's not very often you'll get like a horse that's
It's exciting that Paul Byrne buys horses and JP just buys them off him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, true. But we'll see where he goes. But again, he's the sort of horse, give him a couple of seasons, he'll be one that's popping up in a race.
No, do you know what he reminds me now, Dave? He reminds me of a horse called the Shunter. When Paul Byrne wins the Greatwood over with the Shunter, then he gets fucking JP McManus to go and buy him after winning the bonus Cheltenham. And then what did the Shunter do after that? Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
The only one I'm holding on to the fact of the matter is, I said him last week, is that Paul Byrne's horse that he sold that died of death and Cheltenham have to have a big problem with that. No, he wasn't going to win the rest. When he ran out in the Albert Bartlett, I still think he's a good horse. But
Corbett's Cross.
Yeah, but for Annalise, Paul Byrne's laughing to the bank.
I do like him. I just wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they'll skip between fences and hurdles. Might be dual purpose for a season or something. They like, you know, it's JP, right? They must have some sort of plan with it. And unless they, I don't know.
He's probably rated too high now, Dave, to have a,
it's too high. 155 is not good. He's not that
good to be a platty yoke. So I expect him to be Sunday, the 3rd or 4th November. Is it? Yeah, 4th November in the Drimore.
What, go get beat in the Drimore and then his mark starts to.
But sure, technically, yeah, get beaten, get out the back of the telly. But technically, off 155, shouldn't he be winning the Drimore off 155?
Yeah, he'll be exciting. So that's a good one to, like, from a watching perspective tomorrow. I won't be having a bet, but I like I said, I think the 4-9 is like 2s on bit. Doesn't seem like too bad a price. I wouldn't read too much into if he drifts any of that sort of stuff, thinking that JP's having his bollocks on lane or anything like that. And I wouldn't even read into the markets. Depends what happens in the result after. Everyone out there knows that he should win, especially on those terms. So I feel like it's as simple as that. I don't think he's a horse that would particularly need racing. If he goes and gets beat, this would be the sort of one where you wouldn't be like, oh, he's the best horse, he's got beat, he's shit all of a sudden. Then makes you start maybe thinking, maybe they're plotting something. But then I feel like, but then he might end up a horse 7 months down the line where it's like, surely they're planning something with him. He hasn't won a race since. But he's definitely like an exciting horse.
Sell him to the Willie Cones, he might win the Grand National.
Imagine.
Nobel Yates sold by Byrne to the Willie Cones and he win the Grand National.
But they've got enough time, haven't they, from this start of the season till to the spring. If they wanted to do bits with him, they could. And again, hopefully, just the horse is just going to run to merit, right, and then he'll go and do whatever he needs to do. But
look, Dave, if he falls out the back of the telly tomorrow, then he's going to go around, do nothing for the year, and then he's going to be sold to a big owner. Which he's obviously sold to JP McManus. So obviously they see something in him. Sorry, I've gone beyond the point there. So 155 JP, like, he's been sold. So obviously he's going to be campaigning the top class races because of his rating. Is he rated 155 at the moment? In my opinion, probably not. But look,
what if we want him to just to bolt up tomorrow, don't we? And then hopefully look like a
and
better
then
horse
move
than he
on
looked
to
last
better,
time we saw him, didn't
better
we?
things, and he'll be a super price for the Trimmer and back a decent upcoming novice against him to beat him.
Oi. Well, anyway, we want the best for these types of horses. I'm excited about Veronica. He is an exciting one, but again, he's the cusp type one, isn't he? To see where he's going to go for the rest of the season. But yeah, I hope he does do quite good things, and it's like exciting. We're getting a Tuesday now in the beginning of October, and we're getting horses like this that are coming out. Even the King of Kingsfield that ran, and we're getting charged and stuff like that. Racing is upon us, isn't it? Right, going to peel into the comments. If anyone's got anything they would like to say, then this is your chance. Otherwise, we're going to go. I'm going to go hit the gym. I'm going to go just get swollen it before Cheltenham comes around. Joe said that Brimore thinks the target. With Impervious potentially out for most of the season, do you either have an idea of who could potentially win the Mayor's Chase Cheltenham? Right, Mascara. This feels... Yeah, exactly. This feels like this is the theme for the week, doesn't it? Every
Mascara,
week.
like Ginger Joe said, Mascara.
Exactly. Yeah, we know, don't we? We've already covered that one.
Yeah. Since you muted his comment last week, you're a very bad person, you.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. Don't be lying to me now.
Did I mute? How'd you mute a comment?
Rustle a few feathers. I don't care. Move on.
How'd you mute a comment on here?
Yeah. Muted a comment on Twitter. The poor old Gin saying Mascara.
Oh, yeah. No, I
sticking up for Gin. No, he's going to kill me. Oh, yeah.
No, I did.
Not fighting the two of you.
He was muted on Twitter, to be fair. I mute quite a few accounts, but I feel bad about that. I unmuted. On here, you can't mute the comments there. Anywho, thanks for that, mate. Gala for the Mares from Lee. Mares Hurdle. What do we think is going to happen with Lossiemouth, Jamie? That's the key thing when we talk about the Mares Hurdle. Do you think Lossiemouth is going to try and go in against Constitution as well? Do you think that Willie Mullins is just going to say, State Man, Impero Path, Lossiemouth, let's send them all in against him. Let's mess the race up. Or do you think she needs to step up Kintrip because she's the juvenile and everyone says it?
What I said last week, Dave, about Lossiemouth and all those 4-year-olds, you were going from 4-year-old campaign into a 5-year-old campaign against Grade 1 horses. I would not back Lossiemouth at was it top price in my head, 7-2 in my head. There, I haven't looked at it now, to be honest, in a long time. Like you're probably getting less now than what people are saying on Twitter. 12-1 Gardner Marceau. Like Gardner Marceau is proven that it stays 2.5 miles compared to 7-2. There wasn't that much between them at Cheltenham. Lossiemouth's very keen. To be honest with you, I think Lossiemouth could go down, and I'm quoting somebody now, and he'll kill me for saying it. I think Lossiemouth might go down the 2-mile route, and it's like a Vauban kind of a year in the wilderness, and have a go at that and getting the 7 pounds and all that malarkey. I like a few for that. Gardner Marceau is one. One is the one that won at Goran. No, some crap the last day, but I think there's a race, and if you've got a proper jockey, because Heskin is brutal, is Magical Zoe, crying out for 2.5 miles. And the other horse.
Good enough.
I wouldn't say that, because it's a bad year, Dave. You're kind of coming into the replenishment year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
The Snowden horse is a good horse. You wear it well as well. They're not going down the mare's route for a reason. So
you think Gala for the Mares, relatively price-wise, isn't the worst idea, is it?
No, it's not.
I would be disappointed. I know there's girls' races as well, they can do that, but I feel like for Lossiemouth, I mean, Willie doesn't use it that often, but there's like the Wicked Hurdle and the Limestone Lad. There's ones that are for 4-year-olds to the back end of the season. Where Espoir de Land, didn't he? He went and won all the Grade 3s. I don't think he's going to be sending Lossiemouth into Grade 3s, but that's the sort of stuff you can do.
But you could see exactly what you're saying. You could see him at Limerick in that 4-year-old race. You know, in the last day of the Limerick meeting, you could see her there. Yeah.
Joe's made a good point. The fact that Astro's done 2.5 miles and has 2 years physicality on the pair of them. Like Astro Diamond.
Joe's after giving away the horse that I really fancied to win the race. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I spoke to. We touched on this last week. This is a syndicate horse, and she's going to get. I mean, I'm really bad with the Ballocks anyway. No one said he's going to run in the RSA.
Who?
For Alex. For one of the we said he's got his novice step to the end of this year. Someone said it was in the comments. See if I can reel him in.
He's not going in the RSA. We know that.
Anyway, what did you think of Isio today? That's another comment that came up from Robert Smith. Did you watch it?
Oh, that's another rant I want to make.
Go on, then let's bring it back.
Is that the fact of the matter? When you're trying to watch a horse, right? He's first time out. He's trying his best and all that. And then you have a load of people who, to be honest with you, to me, the best commentator, and I'll always be the best commentator, is Simon Holt. And then ITV are paying this guy to come along and be a commentator, and then he's commentating on Newton Abbott. He loves to see a favourite getting beaten. And it's just my opinion. Look, we touched on that about, I don't know how many years ago, Dave, when we backed your man Slade House to win the Petty Power. What were we saying? All the time, oh, he's off the bridle just because he was the favourite. He loves to see a favourite. Favourites are part of the game. People are glorified favourite backers, right? That's just the nature of the beast. As we're going back to the same thing, nature of the beast. And then you have Hoyles going out. We're trying to attract people into this game, right? A younger generation, because I think the generation below us all only care about social media and a day out. Oh my god, I'm at the races. Wow, look at Instagram. I'm a poser. Whoa, let's put on TikTok. Do you know what I mean? We're trying to attract people, and then you have some people going, "Oh, he's proud Tempest or whatever the fuck the name of the skeleton. Or he's coming near him. The horse was going to win anyway." Do you know what I mean? Like we just
do you
give
know what
over.
I'm going to do? I'm going to do right for this season. Anytime you get the commentary in a race like that, because I'll see it as well. I want you guys to spot it as well, right? We all hear it when we hear it with you can hear it with the commentator when they've either had a bet or they have a bias towards something, don't they?
Correct.
I'll send you the clip if you haven't seen it before. Well, I say the clip. This guy's done loads of it. There's a guy that does voiceover commentary from football matches. I don't want to say Martin Tyler. I think it's someone, but basically it sounds like they always hate like a team when he's talking about them, but he does the actions with it to go with the guy's voice. So when he puts the actions that go with it, i.e. like slapping his head and doing all this like eye rolling stuff, it makes what they're saying even more obvious. So we'll dig out some of these videos and I'm going to see if I can put a couple of them together to make it set like to basically match up with what we're saying in there. And that can be quite a good bit to do. Just to wrap up then, Lee was putting in about Edwardstone for the RSA. That's why Alex Galpin jumped in, slapped Lee down and said, "What you talking about, Willis? He can't run in the RSA, ain't no novice." But fair case. Alan King talked about it last year, didn't he? About stepping up in trip. We know with the fact that Edwardstone's been a little bit of a slower horse, I guess, in the fact that like he was an older horse going for an Arkle. Alan King could have potentially stepped up last year.
He still beats John Bond in Tingle Creek on good ground.
Edwardstone does.
He does, yeah.
Jesus. Well, what do you think of him? Again, say he goes and does that then. What do you think of him like there? Saying, I think 30s for the Ryanair?
I wouldn't put you off. I'd probably end up tipping him down the road because I still like the horse. I think the ground went against him at Cheltenham. My only problem with Edwardstone now, Dave, and it's been a lot of horses that I won't forgive him that run. And I won't forgive him the fact of the matter is that, I can't think of the name. What was the Gary Moore horse that beat him in the Clarence House at Cheltenham? Editor de Geet, yeah. I think Editor de Geet broke his heart that day because he went to win the race.
Sometimes it happens, doesn't it?
It just happens. Do you know what I mean? And I like Edwardstone. And the quote that he might step up and trip, that's fair enough. But that Ryanair is wide open. Wide open.
It's funny as well, isn't it? Because
and I love if Dan Skelton brings Protectorate back into the race because I think it'll absolutely shit on.
And then drop Brave Man's Game in there as well. We've got a proper race, haven't we?
Oh, no, don't put that slow boat and let him finish second for next.
And then Ferronelli could probably go in there. Just run everything in the Ryanair. That's what they should do. We'll chuck this in as well. Tom Allen. I'm sorry, Tom, you put this right at the start of the show as well, didn't you, mate? Excited or disappointed that Constitution Hill is going Champion and not chasing? Sounds like the owner wanted to go chasing this season. Go on then, Jamie. What are your thoughts on it? Are you excited or disappointed that Constitution Hill is going to the Champion Hurdle?
Very disappointed, but I understand, like, that's like another rant as well, Dave. I understand where people are coming from that, yeah, like, let him be a legend and, let him be a legend and win multiple champion hurdles, but against what? Do you know what I mean? Like, Stateman, I can't understand why Stateman's not going chasing him. Why is he too small? Do you know what I mean? Imperial Pass is not going to win. Imperial Pass is a decent looking horse and he'd make a great chaser. He wants a fence. But wouldn't you be? I know it's end of the season, and you can never take Punchestown form to fully 100%. But he looked an absolute pig in Punchestown, and I think could have been overshadowed in the race in the RSA because the fact of the matter, Town didn't give him a great ride. So you have to factor that in it as well. Like it's Stateman running around against Imperial Fast in Ireland, and then it's Constitution Hill running around against the fucking flat handicap and Not So Sleepy for the whole year.
The thing is, it's like from my perspective, right? It's hard because again, really, really bad analogy this is. But Usain Bolt was awesome at 100 meters, right? Just because he was spanking everyone week in week at 100 meters, don't make him go and run and have to prove himself in another discipline. Don't make him go and play football, do the long jump, or do the javelin. And I know
don't
this
want
is
it
a
for
different
excitement,
thing.
though. Excitement of the game.
Oh no, but I get that. But we're like, I know it's hard, right? Because Michael Buckley's had a lot of horses in the past. There's one from like in the 80s or 90s. I think I feel bad because I can't remember the name of it. But he had a really nice horse who like broke his leg, I think, and passed. There was another one more recently that he's had as well. So like he's had like bits in there, but it's a part of it where it's like. Like we know that they might, like, I don't know, as brutal as it sounds, but like with everything in it, like no one's guaranteed tomorrow, are they? And at the end of the day, for the fact of like recently, Nicky Henderson's like put horses in races where he feels like he shouldn't have done, like the Altior thing. He'll never, for the rest of his training career, ever forgive himself for running him that day. And it's things like that with Constitutional. If he sent him over fences and he did have an accident, again, I don't feel like he forgive himself. I know it potentially is like an easy route, isn't it? But we're all giving Constitution Hill the champion hurdle this season, like regardless. Let's go and let him go and see him do it again. Because I feel like last year in the fight in fifth when he won in a canter, I'm pretty sure he did the course record. He is a machine. He's on like an upward curve. If they don't genuinely think he's going to stay the Gold Cup trip, which I don't think he would, I can't imagine there's very many champion hurdlers that have won in recent years that would have stayed that far in the trip. And I know Nicky Henderson has trained some great horses, but Nicky Henderson, when it comes to the extreme distances, his statistics over 3 miles and in excess, like he doesn't train Grand National winners, National Hunt Chase winners, he doesn't do very well with them. He's got a forte of himself, and he's probably better with the quicker type of horses, whereas you've got Nichols that will just make everything stay like a boat. So I think if Constitution Hill was in Nichols' yard, they might start dreaming it. But then you look at someone like Paul Nicholls, who picks up all the small races. If anyone in the world owned Constitution Hill or trained him, and you've got a 1 to 10 favourite for a champion hurdle, or you've got a horse that we don't know how he's going to go, but he would still be short of the other stuff. You're going to run him in the race that you know he's going to win, surely.
But how boring!
Well, how is it? Why is it boring?
It's
Let
boring.
him go
It's boring for the fact of the matter is that we know
because you can't have a bet on it.
No, it's not because you haven't. It's about. It's nothing got to do with a bet. It's
imagine imagine Constitution Hill doesn't run in the champion hurdle, and on the list of honours, you have State Man, who should be over fences for the last 2 seasons, only ran there because of this. Imagine Lossy Mouth picks it up, and then everyone's saying she's better than him.
Yeah. Well, like if there's no Constitution Hill, it'll be the Willie Mullins show. I totally agree with you there.
But I feel like the way that it is, right, the way that the industry talks about it is the only way that Constitution Hill should go chasing is he should say, right, here's a little petition. Every trainer in the country, if you think he should go in the Gold Cup, give us the champion hurdle. His name's embossed on there for history. Give us the race. No one else is allowed to win it. And then let us go and try and win another race. No one would let him do it.
If Michael Buckley, right, who knows the horse is a good horse, right? The fact of the matter is that if he thinks that he's going, it's exactly what he's saying in the media. If we think he's going to stay at the Gold Cup trip, run him in the stairs hurdle. So that's my opinion. And put him over fence and Coney Gree, who had no legs, won a Gold Cup.
Yeah, but the difference, but Coney Gree was a smart one, I think, because like you say there, like he was potentially like injury prone, all that sort of like they had a chance to go and do something with him in a small window, and they did it. Constitutional could do it next year. Galloping Deschamps won't be around so much next year, maybe.
I think they've based it on Dave. If you watch back his point, whatever point race or whatever race, his point. It was a point-to-point race in Tipperary Racecourse against Oni Armanaskin, who was in John O'Neill. He didn't look the most natural over a fence. No,
and watch his entry run. Anyone that watched him win that race at Aintree that thinks that he stays needs their fucking head testing. That was his least impressive performance I've ever seen, and people will argue that it was over the top, all that sort of stuff. He struggled to look impressive at Aintree, and you get horses like
it is Aintree. I understand, but it is Aintree.
Yeah, but you get Apples, Jade, and all of them, and Annie Powell that go there, and they dot up, and they won't stay 3 miles over hurdles.
So we'll agree that he doesn't stay.
And if he doesn't stay, what's the point of sending him over fences? Because, I mean, to be fair, that still would be nice. But for me, from a legacy,
would we like to see it though? Would you like to see it?
Potentially, but I'd rather see a dual champion hurdler and a dual champion chaser or something nuts like that. I don't want to see him win 1 champion hurdle and then, I mean, if he goes and wins 3 champion chases, it's nice or whatever after. But it's a very hard thing to do, isn't it?
Put him first time out in the champion chase. But I don't understand this, Dave. Right? Champion hurdles and Barry Geraghty goes, unless he's going over the fences, he has to go in the Gold Cup. What a load of bollocks he's talking there.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. Yeah, champion chase would be good, wouldn't it?
Well, what's wrong with him in the champion chase? Barry Geraghty became famous on a horse that won champion chases. Like, what a statement to make from an ex-jockey. But look, I seen him before in a bar in Listowel. That man, no, I'll talk about that another day.
Well, yeah, well, we're getting close to the hour mark. So there is some more stuff that's coming through. I mean, we're going to very much struggle to get through all of these comments. I will bring some of them up for next week. I'm going to quickly just skim through some stuff now. And unfortunately, Jamie, you have no input on any of these. I mean, probably could put them in. They're good. They're offensive.
Go on.
Put on
the offensive ones.
No, it's just people slating Martin Brazil. I've done enough of that in my time. This one from
Martin
Craig.
Brazil is his name, not Brazil. Brazil.
I'll call him what I fucking want.
No,
he does what he wants to his horses.
He's called it Martin Brazil. Brazil.
Right.
Brazil, we is aid in his name. Come on.
No, it's like Alan Brazil, isn't it? They're brothers. Both
Brazil.
Idiots. Right, so like here, Raw Vega, where they like to go with this horse. Like Joe says, she's had that's it. She'd have to go straight there. I did mention that when we talked about the show before about Aurora Vega. Let me finish. We've got running out of time.
You won't see Aurora Vega till the mayor's grade 2 bumper and the Dublin Race Festival.
Yeah, well, that's it. Patrick Mullins has said that they're going to avoid Cheltenham essentially without saying the words. He wants to avoid Cheltenham.
Fun all over again.
So they'll go dotting about in other places, but they just to keep it going, and then she'll be hurdler at some point. I mean, the Gold Cup is 100 meters. I get that, but that's like making Mo Farah drop down in trip then. Anyway, right, we've run over an hour. We've gone too far. I'm going to have to stop. Mate, we could just go on forever, couldn't we? We'll peel some of this stuff forward for next week. If you've got anything you want to send in, even if it's a rant just to say I didn't get on the show, rantingandracing1@gmail.com. Send in little voice clips there if you want to do it. If not, on the Twitter page. If you can't message, which I think you can anyway, comment and tell me that you can't message. I'll follow you, and then you can message on there and send a voice note. Or you could just publish it on Twitter. I mean, don't do that because everyone will see it in the first place. But if you want to rant, you want to get some points out there, do it. If not, join us back next week. We'll be 9 p.m. again. The racing is going to start ramping up already, Jamie. We know that. This weekend, still a little bit lackluster, but Chepstow will be around the corner soon. We'll get some decent racing from Cheltenham. There'll be loads of good racing over in Ireland coming up. And we know the ground looks like it's quite nice ground for racing as well, so we shouldn't be having to wait too long to see some of the bigger names. I don't think over your side of the sea. Over here might be a bit different, but let's be honest, how many big names do we actually think there are on this side of the sea? So it's irrelevant what the ground is, right? Thank you guys for your support and tuning in. Jamie, any last words?
Exactly what you said, Dave. All the horses are on this side of the Irish Sea.
Fine, I'm going to find a replacement for you for next week. Thanks again, guys. We will see you again soon.